Hey everybody, it is not a two-headed monster. It is me, my Selah. I have kid duty tonight, so she's sitting with me. And you're going to see her little bald head, and hopefully she'll fall asleep while I'm talking. Right? There we go. So, I mentioned earlier with the boys, okay, I'm going to need you to not do that, please. With the boys, that I was going to chat about protein, the protein myth. I need that bum bum bum, you know, that kind of music. Dude, you totally stink. That was so wrong. Oh, I love this girl. Okay, this is the question. No lie, you guys. We still get this. Hey, Kelly, how are you? We still get this 4 years later. Where do y'all get your protein? And I'm like, oh my word, you guys are smart people that we know. Why are you still asking that? Or they'll say, well, you have an athlete. You know, my boys have all taken turns. My daughter, she's a runner and actually does all kinds of things. I'm going to need you to stop. You said you'd be still. Anyway, my kids and then my husband and I do stuff. My husband does the triathlons and crazy running with the bike and all that business. So, the concern for all you guys, and please hear me, I'm so grateful that you guys are so concerned for us on where we get our protein, but we got this. It's all cool. So, I want to share with you guys. One of y'all needs to hear this, apparently. And maybe it's just one of you. You can go. Maybe it's just one of you. But one of y'all is thinking about doing a plant-based diet, and you're thinking, there's no way I could possibly get enough protein because, please stop, the complete protein nonsense. You want to go? Okay. So, here's the deal. How much protein do you need? Well, as a woman, let's say I'm 5'11", I weigh 165, I'm 43 years old, and I work out about 4 to 6 days a week, just depending, right? So, for me, the minimum I should get is 57 grams. That's the minimum. That's if I'm just trying to survive in life. That's just for me to not have my cells just completely fall apart and my muscles to get atrophied. Not that that's going to happen, but you know what I mean. I don't know all those medical terms. Optimum for me is 135 grams for an average diet that I have every day. So I need to be getting 135 grams. And some of y'all might be thinking, oh dang, that's a lot of lettuce. So I'm about to talk about that. Okay, so a complete protein, that's a theory and that's a myth that was actually disproved a few decades ago. It's true. I know some of y'all are like mind blown, and some of you guys are doctors on here. Some of you guys are chiropractors. Some of you guys are wellness coaches. Okay, I told you, if you're gonna sit here, you're gonna have to stop. No more hands in the mirror. Got it? Yes? Sorry, I had to do a little discipline there for a minute. So some of you guys are in the medical community and you're like tapping your little Jimmy Choo at me with your hand on your hip saying she is wrong. Look it up. Listen, here we go. Here's how the complete protein mindset came about. In 1971, so 45 years ago, a book called A Diet for a Small Planet came out. This woman wrote that plants were an incomplete source of essential amino acids. Okay, of course, if one author writes a book, our culture is prone to go, that's gospel, that's Bible, we have got to follow what this woman is saying. Seriously, guys, don't listen to me. Look up these facts I'm giving you now. Look them up for yourself. Do your own research. I'm just sharing with you research that we have done for the last 6 years. And we have evidence to prove it because we have athletes in our house who are thriving and killing it every day. For real. I'm going to need you to stop. Okay, so she wrote this out. Here's the deal. Obviously, everybody jumped on the bandwagon and thought, yes, we need complete protein. We can't eat plants. No, we need our meat. Or if we do eat plants, then we got to mix the beans and the rice and you got to do all this stuff, right? So, in 1981, wait, hold on, I'm skipping ahead. Here's the deal. She was not a nutritionist. She was not a doctor. She was simply a socialist, or, sociology, whatever, doing an experiment, trying to end world hunger. That was her goal. She was trying to write a book about ending world hunger. She was not trying to tell the American people how they should eat and how we're doing it wrong. She was just trying to end world hunger. 10 years later, in 1981, the author of this book, actually retracted her statement and said, I was wrong. I know you're flying out because you're being a wiggle worm. She retracted her statement saying that in order to end one myth, and the myth was this, that there is an inevitability of world hunger. That world hunger was inevitable. That was a thought that was floating around in the 60s and 70s and probably before that. So she was trying to disprove that myth. But by doing so, she said she created another myth. So here's what I'm going to say to that. Oh, goodness. Here's my soapbox. Did you guys know that 75% of the world's resources, food, money, all of this, water availability, I should say, is in North America? So how can we end world hunger? Raise your hand, everybody. Give me a like sign. Raise your hand. You gonna end some world hunger? You can give to the poor? We can end world hunger. We don't have to come up with these myths. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox for that for a minute. So, now that we know that you don't need a certain plant combo, let's talk about why the plant-based diet is so great.
Mommy.
What do you need? You can't see yourself anymore. You drive me crazy with that. Here's the deal. Heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, and other common health problems such as asthma, allergies, and autoimmune issues are running rampant in our nation. Rampant. I hear so many times, especially when I cut hair, well, high cholesterol just runs in my family. Okay? I'll bet eating meat and dairy runs in your family too. I'll bet eating meat and dairy runs in your refrigerator. Some people say, well, we're prone to this cancer. Yeah, us too. In our family's prone to melanoma. That's how we got on this whole wellness journey. But we decided to do something about it. My husband's dad, well, Mark Weir, you guys know Mark Weir probably better than you know me. So Mark Weir's dad had a couple different kinds of cancer. I think he's on here, he can tell you. He also had heart disease, high cholesterol, all of that. But when Mark went to the doctor and they're like, yeah, you need to be on statins, he's like, oh, hell to the no, I can't do that. My wife would kick me out the house. So he decided to do something different about it. I don't know, not that I would. I mean, if he wanted to go that route, I'd just give him this hairy eyeball all the time. Be like, for real? I'm going to take some drugs? You just eat a plant, for heaven's sakes. I digress. Okay, so in our nation, these diseases are running rampant. Guess what? These diseases I just mentioned, the heart disease, the diabetes, the obesity, the cancer, certain kinds of cancer, autoimmune issues, asthma, allergies, these things do not run rampant in other countries. They're barely registerable in some countries. In other countries, they're not even found. A lot of third world countries don't even know what these diseases are. That's telling, guys. These are just facts that y'all can look up. Don't take my word for it. Check everything I say by your own stuff. So these diseases, heart disease, I'm going to say them again, diabetes, obesity, cancer, asthma, allergies, these things are barely found in third world countries. When you are not near a city in like say China, if y'all know about the China study, if you're more in a rural area, there is like this much percentage of people who have these diseases. It's just true. Think about it. Animals are high in fat, high in cholesterol, low in fiber, low in antioxidants. In order to stave off those diseases I was mentioning, God designed our bodies to thrive with a high fiber diet, to thrive on antioxidants, to thrive with low fat and low cholesterol. Now don't get on here and be like, well, we need fat, we need cholesterol. I know that. I said low, not no. So just listen. Because I know some of you are about to type. You're getting all excited because I've heard you. Here's the deal. I am not an advocate for a complete vegan diet because I don't want to hear y'all complaining about how hard it is because I know it's pesky. I've got 7 people that eat that way and it can get really tricky. But here's the deal. If you try to eat meat and do the 80-20 thing, chances are, especially you guys here in Texas, I know State Fair is going around. I've seen you all with your turkey drumstick or whatever. You have this much meat and this much salad. It's very difficult for the human mind to not have a lot of meat and a little bit of salad. We need to reverse that. Does that make sense, guys? So when you guys are saying, no, I eat a lot of plants, I just have a little bit of protein, which is so funny because plants have protein. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So you have your meat, and then some of y'all will say, well, it's grass-fed. Yeah, it does have less cholesterol, and it has less of that. But if you struggle with heart disease, if there's cancer in your family, if you have diabetes, if you've got asthma and allergies, man, you might want to cut back on the meat, maybe just once a week, and fill your plate with plants. It's true. The other thing is I shared with you guys, if you were on here last time, or if you watched it, with my son, when he got cancer, we cut out sugar. It wasn't until 2 years later that we cut out meat because of my husband, but we did very low amounts of meat and tons of plants, tons of juicing. Here's why. Remember we talked about the alkaline diet. Getting your body more alkalinized. Animal protein is very acidic. So if you are prone to these diseases, or you have one of these diseases right now, if you've got the cancer, if you're obese, if you've got diabetes or heart disease, it creates an acidic environment. You might want to look into a more alkaline environment for your body. My daughter's mimicking my hand motions. I know. I think I was part Italian, just Hungarian. Sorry. So do you see what I'm saying? So eating a more plant-based diet, it's not about necessarily the plants or not eating meat. It's about the acidity. It's about low in fiber, low in antioxidants. Guys, if you're eating a ton of animal meat, like people always tease me that I need to feed my son, how is he going to poop it out? There I go, talking about poop again. But it's true. If you have a ton of meat, a ton of bacon, a ton of whatever, chicken, that is so hard on your gut to poop out. My son just came home and all his noise. Hi.
Hi.
Could you put them out so they're not yelling? Real life, guys. I know. So that's the thing, is that we don't have proper portion size. We don't eat the salad bowl like this and the meat portion like this. So here's my last point. You guys might be saying, yeah, but I'm an athlete. My kids they play football. Look at, there he is. There's the guy, the swimmer. Hey, where'd you just come home from?
Practice.
Practice from what?
Swimming.
Oh my word, he does sports. So he might need, you guys might be like, that poor kid is wasting away of protein. No, he's not. Listen up. I'm going to give you guys some people who are athletes. Joe Namath, Carl Lewis, Scott Jurek. Don't know who he is? I know. Nobody would know unless you're an ultra-marathoner or a vegan, because we look up these people. So if you don't know what an ultra-marathoner is, pray for these people. They are crazy. They run at least 50 miles or 100 miles at a time. Those are races. And he eats plants and no meat. Apparently he gets a lot of protein. Mike Tyson, that's a kind of a recent thing, so I don't know if he did it while he was boxing. Rich Roll, don't know who he is? Because you're probably not an Ultraman world champion. That's what he does. So at 40, he was lazy, chubby, out of shape, not a champion. But at 40, he changed his diet and changed how he did things. And he became a world champion Ultraman. That's pretty amazing. So as you guys are contemplating, complete protein, enough protein, it's super easy to get your protein. Let me show you some things. Oh, she's not going to want to go to you. I'm going to show you guys some things that we... hang on. Loud chair. Here's what we have. Pecans, pumpkin seeds, high in protein. Raw cashews, not raisins. Hazelnuts, high in protein. Coconut, high in protein. Almonds. Hemp seeds, love them. So good for the omegas. Raw Brazil nuts, raw almonds. Not sesame seeds, what are those? Sunflower.
Sunflower seeds.
Thank you. And then we got peanuts. Oh, and then our friend nutritional yeast. Seriously, nutritional yeast. Let me tell you about nutritional yeast. So as a plant-based family, we do not get enough B12. That is truth. So we have to take a supplement, which we do, and we have to eat a food, which is nutritional yeast, that is high in B12. It's also high in protein. Just 3 tablespoons of it. Look, there she is. Just 3 tablespoons of it gives you 8 grams of protein. 3 tablespoons is not that much. P.S. We make a killer nacho cheese sauce that everybody loves. That gives you tons of B12. So, I hope I dispelled that protein myth for you guys. I see Ryan Stewart join. I'm going to call him out. And I hope Neil Shortell watches this another time, because they're always on my case about the protein. And yet, Ryan has said, now Ryan's my friend who's my trainer, he has said that when it comes to recovery, when I work out, that I do pretty well. Meaning that my breathing gets back on track. That I'm not dying for as long. Does that make sense? So there's just a thought. I could go on and on about a plant-based diet, but I won't bore you anymore. I know there's one person that needed to hear this. If you have any questions, like you guys do after all of these nutrition chit-chats, message me. But I gotta go put this monkey to bed. So good night, everybody. See you later.